Alright, it looks like I'm live. Make sure everything is set up correctly. I can hear everything. Sounds like I can hear. Yep, I can hear. Alright, good deal. Get my browser all set up here so I can see everything that's happening. And let's draw. Alright, let's break my knee on my desk. Okay, so yesterday, or if you're watching this in the future, on a previous episode, I started or was working on this some more. I have done some of this on my Facebook page, so and it's viewable to the public. So if you want to check that out, you're welcome to go and see some of the progress that I've made with this there. And I'm continuing some of that progress here on YouTube as well. So I'm kind of dividing this work between Facebook and YouTube because some of my fans live in Facebook, some of my fans live in YouTube, and I just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to see this work progress, because I know some people have been following it, and you kind of fall in love with stuff that you follow. I mean, you follow it for a reason, right? So in a previous episode, I started inking in this wall here, and then on Facebook I went through and detailed in some of the stones here in my green pencil, which I wasn't able to use yesterday because I couldn't find it immediately, and I made do with what I had, so it was okay there. But now that I have it, I want to go into this tree here and kind of take up define it a little bit better, make it look like it has a real life. Okay. I've been working on the road too. I added some details to it to kind of give the picture some indications of scale, give it some depth, a place for the viewer to follow. And I'm going to go in that some more because I ran into a problem. This tree appears to be right in the middle of the road, and that doesn't really make sense at all. And I'm figuring that it's not really even a road. I'm imagining that you wouldn't even really put a cart down this. If you did, it'd be a narrow cart. That this is most likely a wall to lead maybe animals to and from different pastures. So this tree has been there for a long time, and it was a lot smaller when this wall was built, is my theory, and it's kind of taken over this path. So I think when it starts down here, you can get close to the wall unobstructed, but then as it gets closer to this tree, if anything's walking along, it's just going to kind of carry this path away from that wall a little bit, and I think that's fine. It's going to narrow this some, and I think it will work. The viewer will buy it. I'm not sure it would ever be that much of a problem, but I'm sure we all know how the internet is. Somebody will call it out. They'll be like, so why is that tree in the middle of the path again? So I make up a story now, and then I can refer people back to my detailed explanation of this completely fictitious place that doesn't really exist. So that's the path. I'll be doing that maybe. I'm only going to do this for, I hope, less than an hour, so I'm not going to keep my viewers in here that long, and I'm sure you can skip ahead or whatever. But I will talk to you guys if you want to talk, if you want to chat. I'll try to look at the live chat if you want to say some things or maybe offer some suggestions. I'm open to that. So I did a live feed earlier on my Facebook page with this. That was actually earlier today if you're watching this live. If you're watching this later, look around the same dates and you'll find what you're looking for there. Now I don't know what's happened to the base of this tree, but it looks like it's kind of had a hard life there. Maybe a goat came along and just got hungry. Strip the bark off this bad boy. But it's no stranger to goats. It can take it, so it's still doing okay. You don't feel bad for the tree. It's doing fine. The goat and the tree are okay in this story, is what I'm trying to say. Need not feel bad. I feel like this is like a laurel tree or something like that, with these tiny little leaves. Shutting off my language part of my brain as I'm trying to draw these leaves. Think about this picture. I get into my art half of my brain, and it tells my other brain, no, you are, which confounds it and usually keeps it busy for a while. All these little loops look like little petals. Look like scales from this picture that I was doing. I was going to do Snake Lady in my live feed. I didn't want to subject you guys to this really bizarre looking picture for that long. I think I'll try to make a speed art video, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because I've done some of the work off camera. So it'll be discontinuous. It looks like I might have to sharpen my pencil. I think. Here we go. I love this pencil sharpener. Because it's a heart, you know. You have to love it, right? Love blade. I think this is what this says. And I kind of love, I don't know if it's irony or just coincidental, but if you sharpen this pencil with this heart sharpener to a really, really fine point and then jab someone in the carotid artery with it, or maybe even jab them in the heart with it, like a vampire or something, be like, take that. I think it's just like a full circle, like circle of life, but not, it'd be like circle of death, maybe. I don't know. I hope you guys aren't too disturbed by that. Okay. I think I'm going to move away from that tree for a second and think about this barn. Try to put some shadows in here, like how maybe it's actually shaded. Get real close there. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I think it'd be safe to do it now. I'm breaking out the ink. Let's see, am I steady enough? I'll try to do this. And I'm going to use this foam sheet as kind of like a reference so I can get some really straight, perpendicular to the edge lines. Start with the darkest part first and be really careful. That graphite's sticking to the end of this fine liner. It's not wanting to put down ink. Plus I'm shaking like like my dad would say, I'm shaking like a dog shit in a peach seed. Sorry kids, you had to envision that. But I had to when I was a kid. Just sharing. You want to be an artist like me, you gotta live my life. That's all I'm saying. Straighten out those edges. You just kind of rough it in with the pencil. Don't have to be perfect. And then when you go in with something that's really dark, that defines how perfect it is, and then everything else just kind of seems like shadows and all the little bits of imperfection that we see around. That door is kind of weird. It had slats that didn't make sense. I think I did okay. For once I was able to draw structure and not choke. I mean, I'm not done with it yet. There's still that chance. Did I do that edge? I think it did. I replay the tape. I think I can tell I did that back there. Get my creepy whispery art voice on. And I'm not going to do that to you guys. Wow, that just like bam. You're going there. You don't know what's going on in that barn, but it looks like you should be in there doing something. So toss my little foam thing out of the way like I've succeeded. I tossed my hat in the air. Cheers. And then when I was editing an old feed of this tree, well, the last one, I was looking at it and I could tell that this edge just wasn't, just didn't kind of make sense too much. Now I think I'm going to be careful and not leave a little bit of light between. Like, here's the very close edge or the outside edge, and then there's going to be like a little bit of an edge here where the shading starts. And I think if I do that right, I'm going to give some indication that there's light coming from behind the viewer that's striking that tree. I can't get, I'm afraid to hit it. There we go. I think that's, yeah, I can't tell if it's the wood hitting the paper or if it's the lead. I think it's mostly wood. This part here, I'm just rubbing that around. I'm afraid to angle it too hard. Oh, man, shading. Yeah, for someone who doesn't like to shade things, you picked a piece that has kind of like a lot of shading demands. Didn't think that one through. Okay, I think now that I have the shades in there, I can start to put in my little textures of things. This bark isn't smooth. It'll cut your face if someone pushes you into it. Like if you're playing football or something, or frisbee, you lose track of where you're at. Hit this tree with your face, you're going to need surgery. It's rough. That's what I'm trying to say. Kind of like how that is going on there. I think I just need to take these leaves up. Not that much. Definitely let the world know there's leaves there. Coming off of something, so I'm gonna have to put that in there too. I think that's gonna help. It just basically looks like hair coming out of the armpit of this tree. Sorry, that was, I'm just like, my head is just resonating with that visual. And it's right here in front of me. I'm just carrying on. I've got trees dancing in a commercial for underarm deodorant. Sorry about it. And go over those again. And there There are leaves on those. I can see them barely with my own eyes. I know you guys can't see them on my horrible webcam that I got from Radio Shack. Just filed Chapter 13. No surprise there. Still a little bitter. I think that was kind of like the Smurf theme. It was better than the Slave song I was singing yesterday, but I'll go with the Smurf theme. I remember when I was maybe 10 or 11, I don't know, watching the Smurfs. I'd get up on Saturday mornings and watch the Smurfs. I loved the animation. They were out in the wilderness. There's trees, mushrooms, rivers, all kinds of stuff like that. So I used to watch it because I loved the art. And the stories were fun. Characters were interesting. You know, I'm a little kid. And in the summertime, or usually in the fall, that's when my dad would go squirrel hunting. And of course he wants to take his son squirrel hunting so he can learn how to survive a zombie apocalypse. But I wanted to stay and watch animated fictional characters rather than going out in the wilderness, learning to survive by blasting these creatures out of trees. So it was like a really hard choice. And it was for survival. We ate that, and that's what we survived on. You know, the food that we hunted for, or at least my dad hunted for, and me some. We ate that. That contributed to what our family had. That's our resource. And so I really appreciated it for that, especially more now than ever. It's like, as a kid, I definitely could not see the value in it. When I did go out in the wilderness, I was too busy just looking at trees and plants and insects and watching the wildlife rather than wanting to blast it with a gun. Really nice that way, I guess. I still did. If I saw a squirrel, you know, that's food. You better shoot it, you better get it. And I don't know if I'm a meat eater. You guessed that. And squirrel is really good. If it's prepared properly, it's got a really, really nice flavor. And I took that up too much when I did that to begin with. And so I hope you'll eventually be able to see this today. I know there's probably not anybody watching now. My live feeds on YouTube aren't very popular because I'm just starting them, and I hope that's the reason why. I hope it's not that the reason isn't because I'm flipping you off with my finger here, because I'm not. Yeah, I wish for these to grow in popularity just because they are fun to do. And when people appreciate it and when they enjoy it and they get something out of it, it just means more. And it makes it more intrinsically rewarding to do. Because I don't get paid. I make some advertising money off of advertising, but at this stage of the game, it's just insignificant. It's not even worth considering. It's still an investment at this stage. Get you into if you're an artist and I definitely encourage you to look at going online to some platform where you can really get your art, and not just your art out there, but if you can, your personality. You know, people are going to buy your work when it means more, and it's going to mean more when they can put a face and a spirit on that work. You know, would you buy a landscape painted by Bob Ross or Hitler even if they look the same. I mean, it just matters. The provenance does definitely matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I think I'm messing things up. There's leaf patterns all over the place in this tree. I'm going to have to clean that up. It's going to take some time. So I got leaves going whichever way here. I got strokes that just don't even make sense there, and they're going all the way through. Oh, jeez, this is a disaster. You guys are witnessing. It's going down. It's going down. Did I just bump the camera again? Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm falling apart. Watch a Chris Crocker style meltdown here. That noise is almost kind of driving me crazy a little bit. What's missing? That's not what's missing, so we're just going to take that out. We're not going to add that in because it wasn't missing. We're just going to lose that again. Maybe some indication of limbs, like where. You know what, I'm just going to do this here. I think that just needs to be there. Just commit. You can do it. There we go. I think that's going to make a little bit more sense there. I'm just going to put that vegetation behind the tree. And put this in front. Alright. And put a few kind of, I don't know what details there. Take up these light tones. And by jeepers, I think I may have fixed it. Did I say jeepers? What's that even mean? Anybody ever say that? By cracky? I think I've heard that one before. Sorry, using my language brain. Figure out what the hell's going on in this picture. Oh my goodness, it's a wreck. This tree was looking so pretty and now it's just awful. God, I messed it up. I'm sorry, guys. I led you astray. You're like, he's going to do this. It's going to be nice. We're going to learn something other than what not to do. So we can figure that shit out on our own. Here, I'm going to save you some time. Don't do this. Whatever you're watching me do. I'm going to try and fix this. I think I can. I'm going to be the little engine that could on this picture. Undo the Bob Ross mantra of happy accidents. No mistakes, just happy accidents. I think once I get the textures in there, it'll help define things a little bit better. So let's do that. Let's rough this tree up. Let's make it look like you can take your face off if you ran into it. frisbee. Definitely don't want to hit it skiing. I don't know why it would be anywhere where you could ski, like land skiing. Darken that side up. Hit this a little bit harder. Get that and take it up a little. There it is. Make sure it looks like it's on that side. There, I think it's working. One of the hardest trees I've ever done. What the hell was that? Sorry, someone coughed in the other room. This tree, gotta give it that roughness. It's got to have the roughness. And that's down in there, so it's kind of dark. So I don't like drawing with my pencil between me and what I'm trying to draw. So I'm drawing blind. All right. Can you guys see? Okay, I'm in a good spot, I think. I'm kind of give it these little loopy-doos. I don't know. That's what I'm going to call them, loop. That's their official art name, loopy-doos. Someone just laughed outside. It sounded like Amadeus. It's such an old reference. No one got that. Yeah, love the textures there. I think it's happening. It is happening. This tree is coming together. It's like putting clothes on this naked tree. Just short lines, and you kind of want them to angle back on themselves, kind of like almost like a fingerprint. Does that kind of give you some idea of how these textures are drawn? You know, they come through and it just starts to look like knots and stuff. And the tricky part is getting it to go up the angles and just being consistent and trying to keep the scale of that consistent, because, you know, the tree's older down here and these pieces are going to be further apart, and then as you get up and down the limbs they get closer together and maybe more bumpy. So I'm just going to kind of, now I may not even follow the same lines here. I may keep the same kind of textures, the pattern, I guess, and just do it over what I have there. Again, it's going to take up, it kind of takes over a little bit and gives it sells it, gives you that. The brain tries to expect what that is. It's always trying to understand the world around. It basically gets an image from the outside world, and then it pulls up a bunch of images and is like, is this it? Nope. Is this it? Nope. Is this it? Yep. That's it. And your brain tells you, okay, that's it. And that's how magicians get by with their illusions, because when the brain pulls up cards, it picks the wrong one. Okay, so now I've got, find me a really good eraser here. And now that I've taken out all of that beautiful highlights of leaves, I'm going to try and go back in and put it in with the eraser. Now I'm going to go in with this round tip here a little bit, eraser, because it gives me a particular texture. And then I'm going to go in with the very tip of this one, and it's going to take it, just maybe go in a different direction. And that way everything's not the same. Okay, I like that a little bit. And now if I go back in, I want something really light. Just kind of hit those with some lines that go against the grain a little bit. And that's gonna, oh shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to say. Sorry kids, cover your ears. This is why I don't like color pencils, or really pencils in general, because I'm too heavy-handed. I use the wrong shade the wrong way, and I end up breaking the tip off. And grinding through my pencils. So just try this. Yeah, kind of like that. Oh, there are some wind chimes outside. They're trying me hard. I need to close my window some more so I'm not hearing them as much, but my brain will focus in on that, and that's just all I can hear. I feel like I'm just, every time they go, the wind hits them. I feel like I should have like some memory come forward in my mind, and I'm just like locked, catatonic in this nostalgic vision. I love all those little bits in there. This part that comes off is just crazy. I think if I just keep doing that with this tree, everything will be okay. Gonna be alright. I always hear that Bob Marley song. Take that down. Take that down. Yeah. There we go. That's starting to look really good, I think. I'm really not happy about the strokes I just put on there, like some kind of preschooler. I didn't want to drop my hand on that picture, get covered up with lead. I call it lead. I'm old school. I'm from the 1970s. I'm half stupid from all the lead that I was exposed to as a kid. It was in everything. You couldn't buy a toy without lead all over it. And then the toy was like, to play with, put this in your mouth. So I'm surprised I have any intelligence at all after living through the 70s. Growing up, most important neurological development. There's never been so much lead in the environment. Couldn't pump gas without lead blowing up in your kid's face, turning them half retarded. Maybe that's why we're in the shape we're in now. Too much lead exposure in the 60s and 70s. Okay. I'm in for 35 minutes. I've worked on this tree pretty much the whole time. I'll put a limb that kind of goes up there a little bit. Yeah. I keep bumping the camera with my forehead. Can't see these guys now. They weren't even there before. And now they just live like they've been there the whole time. Just couldn't see them. Yeah, that tree is beautiful. I hope you think so. I hope you're enjoying how this is going. And I think I'm going to cut that here. I like the length of this feed. It's not going to take you guys all day to watch it. And I made a little bit of progress. I think the next I'm not really happy with how this is, but I'll work on that. And what else do I have to do? Just maybe work on this background, work on this part here, finish up the path, and I'm going to be getting close to finishing this piece, and it'll be ready for sale. So I hope you follow along. I'm going to be doing that over the next week or so on Mr. Ed Draws live stream, and I'll also be doing, of course, my traditional Mr. Ed Draws It and Erases It dry erase art. So check those out if you haven't. If you like this, think about giving me a thumbs up. Think about subscribing if you haven't, and hit the notification so you're sure to get a notice. And because I said the S word and the A word, and hopefully I didn't say the F word out loud, this might get restricted. So be sure to click your restricted off. And if you're a child, hopefully your parents there and they know what's going on. So until next time, guys, I love you. Thanks for watching, and take care.